guys, welcome back. Sorry for the delay in videos. I haven't posted in almost 2 weeks. It's just been crazy here, especially because I work outside in the sun, and for almost 2 weeks it's been over 100 degrees in Texas. So been relaxing. I pretty much just come home from a 10-hour day and sleep. But today I am picking up some friends and we are heading to SeaWorld San Antonio. This is actually the last week that SeaWorld is open during the week. From now on, it will only be open Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So if you guys were hoping to come during the week, you'll have to wait until the holiday time. And they typically open up around Thanksgiving to Christmas time to do all of their Christmas events. But today we are going to check out the park for the last time during the week. And I think we're gonna go compare all of the shows. So if you guys are coming to SeaWorld San Antonio and you want to plan your day around watching the shows, we're going to show you a little bit of all of the different shows. There are 4 of them, and that way you can decide which shows you want to go to or not. So let's pick up my friends and we're going to head on out. So we are in. We made it into SeaWorld. Here is what the crowd level looks like. If you can see here, not a lot of people at all. But the good news is the Great White is up and running. So if you guys don't remember, the Great White has actually been closed since SeaWorld reopened from lockdown, basically. The Great White has been closed ever since. And I hear that it was open last weekend and it's also open today. So it sounds like the Great White may be running the next time when you guys come here. I think that they probably just weren't running it for sanitation reasons, but either way, Great White is running. So I mentioned earlier that I was picking up some friends, and one thing that I wanted to let you guys know is if you do get an annual pass, there are some passes with options to bring friends for free. So I have the Platinum Pass. It's the highest level pass, and it gets me into SeaWorld and Aquatica, and actually all SeaWorld owned parks and Busch Gardens in the US. So I can go to Orlando, I can go to California, I can go to Water Country. All of those parks are included. And with the Platinum Pass, I actually got 7 free tickets to bring my friends into the park. So I got my friend a reservation this morning and I got her in for free. So if you guys are considering an annual pass to SeaWorld, definitely consider that you also do get free tickets with some of the top level tiers. The first show that we went to see today was the Beluga Show. It's in the Beluga Stadium, which is kind of off to the right-hand side of the park. And this is just a really cool show. So this show actually showcases beluga whales and then Pacific white-sided dolphins. SeaWorld San Antonio is one of the 3 places in North America that houses Pacific white-sided dolphins. So it's a really, really cool chance to be able to see them. The trainers are not getting in the water currently, but in previous versions of this show, this is the show that they can get into the water. They can kind of swim around with the belugas, showcase some of those behaviors. But right now, because we are all wearing masks, the trainers don't have the opportunity to get into the water because obviously that's a safety issue if you have a piece of cloth over your face. So they are not getting into the water currently at this show, but regardless, it was actually a really good time. The Beluga Show is awesome. The stadium is totally enclosed, so I really do like that. It's actually a nice place to stay in the shade. Keep in mind, for all of these shows that we are going to today, these are not mask rest zones. So you are required to have your mask on, even though you're in a stadium and you're technically outside. They will be coming around to tell you to put your mask on. So please just keep your mask on, but you can bring drinks and stuff in, and you can remove your mask if you need to take a drink. It's overall just a really good place to sit down. So I really liked the Beluga Show. It's very fun. It's very entertaining. They do a great job of showcasing their SeaWorld rescues in this show. They do have a beluga calf that was rescued from the wild, and he now lives at SeaWorld San Antonio. So that was a really cool little story there about how they rescue animals. These belugas don't splash you, so you can sit in the splash zone. The trainers might splash you, but these guys actually take water in their mouths and spit it into a bucket, and then the trainer throws it behind them. So that's actually really funny and really exciting to watch. But overall, Beluga Show is a great show. It's a great one for kids. The belugas are very cute. They're soft little squishy bodies. They're just very cute. They are very wonderful to watch. Some of the other shows at SeaWorld are really kind of focusing on how powerful the animals are, and the Beluga Show focuses more on how cute they are, and then also their rescue mission. So I really like that they kind of spun it a little bit of a different way for the belugas here. Okay, so next up we have Sesame Street Sunny Day Celebration. There are 3 show times in the daytime, but if you're coming here, it's probably not that busy. We're gonna go to Sesame Street. What's the song? Do you know Sesame Street songs?
No.
Oh. We don't know any Sesame Street songs, but we're gonna go in there and find out.
Eat cookie, eat cookie, eat cookie. Wow, please sing what we know. Maybe just this once. Could you try something different, please? Okay, sure, yeah. Make it cooperate as good as next time. Really? Yeah. You will not sing eat cookie for the last part of the song? We got something completely different planned. Well, I am glad to hear it. Yeah, okay. You just follow me, okay? Here we go. Music!
Just got out of Sesame Street, and I have to admit to you guys, this is the first time I've ever done Sesame Street show. I don't have kids, and I've never been here with kids, so it's never really crossed my mind to do it. I'm right outside of the Atlantis water ride, so that's where my friends are going on right now. We're gonna wait for them to come down. But actually, I had a great time at Sesame Street. It was very short, so it was only about 15 minutes long, which was awesome. So if you have little kids, it'll definitely be able to hold their interest for sure. The kids in the audience that we had were loving it, definitely big Sesame Street fans, but it's a really good thing if they don't really pay attention to like the other animal shows around, like the Orca or the Beluga shows. Really consider taking your little kids to Sesame Street. I think it was a great show. We were all clapping and laughing, and we are 3 grown adults, so if that tells you anything, it was a good show. So next we are headed to Sea Lion High. We are doing the show later on in the day. So the last time I came here, we actually did the opening show of Sea Lion High, which is at 11 a.m. in the morning. And the stadium was full of sunshine, and it was like direct sun right in your eyes. So today we are doing the 3:30 showing of Sea Lion High. And we'll see if the stadium is any different, so you guys kind of know how to plan your day around if the stadium is going to be extra sunny or not as sunny, because let me tell you, it was super hot. It was almost unbearable sitting in the direct sun at the Sea Lion Stadium because only some of it is covered, which means only some of it is shaded. So we are going to Sea Lion High next, and we'll see what it has for us. That's one of my favorite shows. It's just so funny. It's so comical, and they've rewritten the entire script for our times that we're living in now. So it's really funny to hear their brand new jokes and everything that they've come up with.
To Ocean University are Clyde and SeaWorld. Celebration! I didn't see that from a graduate! They did not complete their classes! Oh no! SeaWorld, is this true?
If you are coming on a really hot, sunny day, definitely show up to an afternoon show. It is not as crowded as the morning shows, but more importantly, the sun is behind the stadium. So this stadium is not fully covered like the Orca Stadium. It is covered a little bit, but there are some seats that are out in the open. And if you do go in the morning, it's going to be really, really sunny. So if you have a choice and you can stay until one of the later showings of Sea Lion High, I would definitely recommend that. So their show is actually really funny. It's kind of their comedy show featuring the sea lions and also an otter. The premise of the storyline is that you are in a high school in Clyde and Seymour, which are to win the scholarships. It's just a really, really cute show. It's very funny, very family friendly. If you're sitting in the splash zone, you will get splashed a lot, particularly on the left side. So if you do not want to get splashed a lot, sit outside of the splash zone, sit on the right side of the stadium. If you want to get splashed a lot, definitely sit on the left side. You will get wet, but it's also a good time. That's why the stadium is kind of out in the open, especially if you're coming in the summer or when it's way hotter. you probably will welcome some of the splashing. There are several showings of the sea lion high during the day, and if you're catching it during this kind of coronavirus time, it's actually really funny because they've written all of their show to be a whole different thing. So they do kind of like school jokes and Zoom meeting jokes and coronavirus jokes, which are really funny, I think. I really love this show. It's not a conservation show. It doesn't talk about sea lions or conservation or anything like that. It's pretty much purely comedy. So if you are with someone who doesn't love like the Beluga or the Orca show, because they're very kind of like, they pull at your heartstrings a little bit, and you're with someone who really enjoys the comedy factor, this show will get them. It gets me laughing every time. It's just really cute and really fun.
Hello everyone, my name is Maria, and on behalf of the Killer Whale training team, I'd like to welcome everyone to Orca Encounter. I've been training animals for the last 12 years, and it is so much more than just a job. It's a way of life. We've dedicated so much of our personal lives and our professional careers to the animals in our care. It is a huge responsibility, but the ultimate privilege to get to care for, teach, learn from, and build relationships with these remarkable killer whales. We are honored to get to share with you today what we've learned through those relationships today and for many years to come. Ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy Orca Encounter.
The last show that we visited today was the Orca show. It is at 4:30 every day. If you are looking at the show times on the website or on the app, it will say Orca Encounter. Don't be fooled by this. This is the show. This is the one and only Orca show during the day. You can see them at one other time in the afternoon. It will say Orca Open Viewing. That's basically just watching the trainers train the orcas, and there is someone kind of talking about them, and you can ask them questions, but it's not a formal show. So if you want the show with them jumping and the music and everything like that, you want to go to the 4:30 Orca Encounter. So this show is really cool. It's very sentimental, very SeaWorld, really tugs at your heartstrings. They start off the show by calling out any first responders who may be working as essential employees during this kind of global pandemic that we're going through. And I think that's very cool, very nice of SeaWorld to add that touch in there. And it helps people in the audience feel seen and heard for their work that they're doing as first responders. So point to SeaWorld, that's a very nice touch. Moving on with the show, it talks a lot about orcas in general, killer whales as they are called, and kind of their anatomy, their physiology, what their behaviors are, how they are very dependent on the ocean, and how we are kind of the most dangerous thing standing in the orca's way. So definitely a lot about conservation, definitely teaching you a little bit about the orcas. And then the music starts and lots of videos are playing and it's very dramatic and the orcas come out. So they have two groups of orcas that you'll see at SeaWorld San Antonio. We saw the 3 girls, and then there's also 2 boys which were in the back pool. So they probably did some training sessions today and they just weren't being worked in this show, but we have seen orca shows with the boys. So when you come, it will just kind of vary depending on which group of orcas they are working in the show. So we had the 3 girls, and it's very cool. They go through a lot of behaviors. They kind of explain exactly what all the behaviors are, how they take blood from them. They explain that, how the orcas would hunt in the wild, and what these kind of behaviors that they've taught them represent. So it's actually a really good, really beneficial, and very educational show. Besides being very cool, it's also awe-inspiring. It always makes me tear up. So if you guys run into me at any SeaWorld shows ever, I always get so teary-eyed because I just love the fact that they can really promote people to care about these animals. So I work in the animal field, and it is so hard to get people to care about conservation, and I just get chills because SeaWorld does such a good job of it. Those kids are going to remember the orcas because they are jumping out of the water or they're splashing them, and they're gonna go home with their families and talk at dinner over how we can protect the oceans. Basically, SeaWorld inspires all of us to do better for these animals, and I think all of us in the animal field thank them for that because they're doing a wonderful job. So I always get really teary-eyed and sentimental at all of SeaWorld shows, but especially at the orcas because they're so cool and they're big and they're beautiful and they're very impressive. There are huge splash zones at this show. So if you have little tiny babies or if you have people that definitely do not want to be splashed, you definitely want to sit at the top of the stadium. These are huge animals and the splashes that they cause are also huge. So the splash zones are clearly marked, but if you definitely want to make yourself safe from the splash zones, you absolutely need to sit at the top of the stadium. You can definitely still see everything. They do a really good job of making every seat a good seat. But just so you know, if you've never been before, I don't want anybody to get splashed because you get drenched. People walk out of that show sometimes looking like they've just stepped out of a pool. So that's how wet you get. Now, it is really fun for kids, and if you do like to be splashed or your kids like to be splashed, you can definitely sit in the splash zone if it's a really hot day. This water is very cold. Orcas are from cold water, so they like that water cold. It's definitely refreshing. We got splashed a little bit unexpectedly. We thought we were sitting in a fairly safe zone behind these kind of slide out areas, but we were wrong. My group got splashed a little bit where we were sitting, so you'll definitely want to sit at the top of the stadium if you don't want to get splashed here. But overall, this is a wonderful end to the day. The show is currently showing at 4:30 only, and the park closes at 5, so it kind of encourages everybody to go to that 4:30 showing, and then as soon as those gates open, you'll hear the closing announcements that the park is closed, and they will funnel everybody towards the exit. So I'm back home now. I was so tired after our last show that I just totally forgot to tell you guys that that was it. So we did all 4 shows at SeaWorld today. We did Sea Lion High, the Beluga Show, Sesame Street, and the Orca Encounter show. So if you guys are looking at the app, it does say Orca Encounter, and that is the Orca show. So if you're looking for that one, currently it's only running at 4:30 p.m. But we had a great day. I had a wonderful time. I really like watching the shows. I think they add such a cool element. And the trainers talk a lot about training the husbandry behaviors, why they train these things, and then you also really get a cool showcase of what these animals are capable of that you don't really get to see if they're just swimming around. So I really love the shows, but you guys know I'm a big SeaWorld person. Let me know in the comments what you think about the show. What was your favorite show? Which one would you most like to go to? And if there's any shows from the past that you would like to see brought back, I would love to hear that as well. That's it for me today. Next week, we will be at Fiesta Texas again. We are going to do a little something with roller coasters, I think. So, well, I say we, it'll be Tyler. Tyler's gonna do a little something with roller coasters. So, that's it. We are off. We'll see you next week.